Hey everyone, it's Glitchy here, and today we're going to be talking about the mid-season update for Marathon Season 2, also known as the PvE experimental mode update known as Vaultbreaker. So, I'm not going to be really talking about like all of the balance changes and stuff like that in this video. I just want to talk about my thoughts on Vaultbreaker, and then near the end I want to bring up my thoughts on the state of the game. So, getting into Vaultbreaker, which you're probably seeing my first run of this in the background, I think it's actually a really interesting way to be able to teach players about cryo. The problem right now is that I don't think a lot of players are really willing to learn about cryo because they're not playing the game at all. This map, as someone who has probably put in like 150 hours, maybe even 200 hours on cryo by itself, I think it's actually a really cool way to be able to explore the entire map and just be able to see everything that you're not really thinking about when you're just playing the game normally. And another thing is that progression in this game mode is pretty interesting because it basically works as in you're going into the vaults inside of cryo and you're grabbing this data from the vaults and then you're extracting with it, and it gives you a specific amount of currency to work with so that you can unlock upgrades. It's been described as a roguelite. It doesn't really feel that fast for a mode that's supposed to only be around for a couple weeks. This is experimental. This is supposed to be like something they can kind of get feedback on so they can apply it to the next mode that's coming in Season 3 for Marathon. But honestly, I think that if they really want this to kind of catch on, if they want players to be able to experience Cryo Archive as a whole, they should probably make this permanent, because it does feel really fun, and I actually like being able to upgrade stuff and be able to go back in with better gear and be able to have more runs, basically just get faster and faster and go through the vaults. But I just don't think that 2 weeks is enough time to be able to experience like everything that this mode kind of has to offer. And I really think that players that have never played cryo before are not going to have a fun time learning this map and then not getting rewarded for not knowing it and then instantly just having it be gone. And then Bungie expects that people are just going to jump into the PvP mode when cryo is actually just the hardest map in the game. Like, my crew that I played with when during Season 1 was pretty hardcore, and somehow, like, even we got sick of what was going on in cryo, and I'm the only one that's playing anymore. My squad has moved on to other games. I've got one friend who's playing Arc Raiders. I've got another friend who's playing Dark and Darker. It just kind of blows that this is the thing that's supposed to be, like, quote-unquote, getting people into Marathon, like, for the PvE aspect, and it's just going to go away, and it's easily on the hardest map where, like, people that only want to play PvE on Marathon are not going to ever go into Cryo Archive and go do the compiler and get the skin for stuff like that and go get actual loot from that map. But like, a feature that I think would do really well in this specifically is making it to where there's a feature where you can pick one specific item from Vaultbreaker that you could put into your inventory where you could take it back into the main extraction mode. I think that would be perfect. Call it a safe pocket like from Arc Raiders. But honestly, there just needs to be some level of being able to get stuff from this mode and being able to actually bring more stuff into the actual extraction mode that isn't vault keys or some of the weapons from the actual vaults, because a lot of those weapons just suck. I'll be completely honest. Like, the Dervish is just completely useless at this point, especially with how often they're changing the meta at this point. Like, with this update, they made it to where the Mizraya is kind of fucking ass, and now the Waster is back to being able to two-shot purple shields, which honestly is probably a great change for the game. But at the same time, like, when you're making it to where people can get golds and even the compiler weapon from Vaultbreaker with enough loot, just make it to where you can get any gold gun for these 2 weeks. If it's not permanent, then it doesn't matter. But if it is permanent, then it just makes it to where there's an easy way to be able to experience these weapons. It makes it to where there's a level playing field for people that do go from the PvE mode into the PvP mode. It doesn't make any sense that you can't get anything from Cryo as a whole just from playing Vault Breakers unless you're playing non-stop for 2 weeks, which with how the player numbers have been, that's not going to happen. But at the very least, Vaultbreaker makes me feel at least somewhat hopeful for PvE in Season 3, but it needs to be a lot deeper than this. I really want them to keep Vaultbreaker just specifically so there's variety in the modes. And if you're going to do that, I think they should also make it to where there is balancing changes with the actual map when you decide to fill solo or duo or trio, because the way as it stands right now is when you're loading into Cryo for Vaultbreaker, you are basically deciding to turn off crew fill and you're going in solo against the exact same number of bots. If you don't want it to affect the number of players that are in other game modes, then you need to make it to where there are balancing changes, because as of right now, with Bungie not deciding to change how many enemies or how much damage they do or anything like that, I don't know. I'm getting Halo 2 Legendary flashbacks. It just feels a little bit underseasoned and quite a bit undercooked for an experiment. So I think with that, it kind of, I wouldn't say brings my thoughts on Vault Breakers to a close, but I kind of want to move more into the sense of like, let's get into the state of the game for Marathon, because things are looking pretty bad right now. And as someone who's a huge Bungie fan, as someone who absolutely loved Destiny, and, you know, someone who loves Marathon, it's looking bleak for the studio right now. And I don't really know what can be done to fix this, except for basically just adding like a bunch of modes. And it really doesn't seem to have a good look, because Ziegler just left, and we have no idea what direction the game is going to go in anymore. It feels like Bungie is just scrambling to make changes desperately to get some amount of players. And, you know, there was a huge spike of players today. There was for the mid-season update, which huge is not exactly a great word to describe it, since it went from going to 5K active players yesterday to 14K today. You know, just for a live check, let's look at what it is right now, just because. Okay, so the update came out about 4 hours ago as I'm recording this, and we're sitting at 13.4K right now. So that's probably not the numbers that Bungie wants. And honestly, I can't really see it getting any better for Season 3. So what is the plan? They don't give us any news for any of the modes that are coming in the future. Like PvE, I understand that they want to keep some things secret, but this is not the point where you want to be keeping any secrets. We need some transparency. Like, we need news on, like, hey, are we switching over to, like, arena shooter? Like, are we just sticking with extraction? I don't really think that that's the move anymore. I think we need some arena shooter modes, and I understand that they're working on a PvP-focused mode, but we need news on it. We need actual information. This idea that, hey, something's coming, hey, this and that, hey, here's this. All of these experiments are completely useless if the game is going to be shut down in 3 months. You need to get people excited for what's coming. You can't just say, hey, something's coming, and not explain what is. Because I would be endlessly hyped and would be trying to tell people, hey, you should watch out for Marathon for Season 3 because so-and-so is coming. Like, if they announced a genuine arena shooter mode and somehow had a couple maps to go along with it, with maybe even some maps made from the extraction maps that we have right now, I'd lose it. I'd be so unbelievably happy. I would lose it in a good way, because the gunplay in this game is so damn good, yet for some fucking reason, they refuse to do anything else with it. And they're just saying, oh yeah, we're working on a PvE mode. Yet they don't tell us what the PvE mode is besides, oh, you're going to be doing objectives with other players. Yeah, no shit. Like, we could see that with Vaultbreaker, and I'm happy that Vaultbreakers is pretty decent. But we need something. We just need a little bit more. I don't know. I'm very cautiously optimistic about the future of Marathon. Very cautiously optimistic. I'm extremely tired of basically waiting to see if this game is going to be shut down because of how low the player count is, and also probably just how little money the game is raking in overall. They just laid off half of the fucking studio, and now we're just sitting here waiting for content. And we're not getting any news about it. The game director just left, and he was pretty cool. The way he would communicate with the community, the way he would talk about news, I'm sure his game vision was pretty damn good. But now he's gone. We don't know anything about the new guy for the most part. And quite frankly, it's very bleak. Everything's very bleak with this game right now. I haven't been playing for like the entire season. Before Vaultbreakers came out, the last day I played was June 12th. So over a month ago. And I want a reason to play. I want a reason to engage with Marathon and actually have fun with it. But as of right now, I can't see any reason to get back on the game. I haven't even done Vault 6 on my account, and I can get Vault 6 keys from Vaultbreaker. I see absolutely no fucking reason to do it because I don't want to play the game, because now it's actually like the core base of players is so unbelievably sweaty that you genuinely just cannot hop into a game and have fun. And it's especially hard in an extraction shooter to hop in like mid-season and try to have fun from there, especially when they absolutely ruined everything with the item economy in the very beginning of the game. It does not make sense. So as hopeful as I am, even though it doesn't sound like it, I really want for Vaultbreakers to stay around, and I really want for the PvE to be good in the next season, because that will probably be the only way that I'm playing Marathon from this way out, because playing PvP is just exhausting, especially with how Bungie has decided to handle balancing and basically haphazardly nerfing things and then buffing things and then nerfing the progression and then buffing the progression. It just feels agonizing to play. This season has been an absolute travesty for Marathon, and I cannot believe it got to this point. So season 3 is probably going to be the point where a lot of people hop in potentially to try it out. I think that there are a lot of people right now that have written off the game, and they will never like even attempt to try the game because it has been labeled as the hardest game just ever, like besides Tarkov. And it's also just been labeled as shit by every single other community. I just think Marathon's kind of run out of cards to play at this point. I really want for them to come back, but at the same time, I don't see there being a way for this game to have like a Taken King moment, because funnily enough, Destiny actually had like great reasons to play besides like the story content from the very beginning. Like people got attached to the raids and stuff like that. Marathon just doesn't have that. Marathon does not have the grind. Marathon does not have raids, even though compiler's great. I just don't think it's going to work. But I think that there is some potential that if Bungie were to make more modes to kind of widen the audience, don't make a game for everybody, because something made for everybody is something made for no one. But you need to put content in that will attract like a general player base, because the extraction mode is not it, and it wasn't it before the game came out at this point, and you need to pivot so unbelievably hard. I'm shocked that there wasn't an experimental PvP arena mode in this season. I don't think it would have been that hard for them to add. Like, they could have simply had it to where there's an invisible barrier around like complex, where even if you go out of bounds, you just die and you just respawn with the exact gear that you had. Make some shitter loadout with just gray gear and just have like 6v6, 2 teams of 3, just run it down in complex and have some fun in there. I don't think it would have been that hard, and I think that probably could have gotten a lot of feedback so that they would have actually been able to implement something for Season 3. But now we know absolutely nothing. It's kind of hard to say where the game is right now, and it's even harder to recommend the game to anybody. With that, I think that that's going to end this video here. This video was made like extremely quick. Like, I literally have bullet points on my screen that I'm just kind of going over. So if you want to see more content like this, then go ahead, leave a like, maybe even comment down below. But I am going on vacation. I wanted to get this video out before I left. 2 days in a row of uploads. That's unheard of for this channel. So I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to try to put out a video either next Tuesday, maybe on Monday. We'll see what happens. If you guys like the channel, please go watch the other videos, because a lot of them are scripted, unlike this one. And leave a like down below and subscribe. Leave a comment what you want to see in Marathon. What's your favorite part of the game? How do you feel about Destiny getting shut down or whatever? This is Glitchy, signing out.